Howdy y'all, my name is Ration Outlaw, and today I have a video on, Hey Jessica, what's this video on again?
And it's Alex Clark video, sir.
What? Why are we watching a video on that? I like Alex Clark.
Just watch the video, sir. You'll see why.
Okay.
If you're still not sure what to do about guns, let me explain it to you using this awful cat.
Oh dear lord.
Before we start, we can all agree that banning cats won't get rid of all cats, and that a majority of people that do own cats are good people.
This part's not so bad. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Not every cat is an awful cat, and I happen to love a cute, cuddly cat. Ah, look at you. So cute. Such a cute little kitty. Stupid awful cat! That was an awful cat. And that is what we're here to talk about. Let's say you're at the movies or church or school when out of nowhere a cat pops up and claws you in the face. Suddenly, you might want to do something about this awful cat.
Heaven knows why, considering the fact that mass shootings only make up 0.2% of all murders, and murders only make up 0.6% of all deaths in the United States. The chance of you being murdered by someone with a firearm is less than 0.00005%.
Now, I live on a street that had one awful stray cat. And when no one did anything about it, one cat turned into dozens, and they were all clawing people in the face.
Wait, what? Are we still talking about guns? Or are we on, like, mental health? Assuming you're talking about still guns, no, that's not how it works. Harvard has an essay showing that the number of guns a country has does not affect the number of murders they have. In fact, there are studies showing the exact opposite, where the fewer guns a country has, the more homicides it has. We have more guns than ever, and violent crime in the United States has dropped by 48% since 1996. Ugh, never mind. I'm gonna need some help. Jessica, where's the phone? I need to make some calls.
Hey Rational, thanks for having me. I just caught up on the clip so far and wow, this is bad. He does realize that guns aren't asexual sentient beings that reproduce by budding, right? I mean, they are inanimate objects. I'm simply baffled by how bad his comparison is so far.
And it's all because my neighbor, the crazy cat lady, Mrs. Nra, was leaving out giant piles of treats for cats. So you explained to your neighbor that maybe it would be okay to have a couple rules for these cats. Now you would hope that a good neighbor would understand. But she freaks out and yells at you that you're trying to ban all cats. And you're just like, hey, I just don't want to get clawed in the face. I'm not banning anything. And they tell you maybe if you had your own cat, you'd feel better about it. And you say, I do have a cat. It's that cute cuddly one in my window.
Is your cat fully semi-automatic? We have a fully automatic cat right now.
A fully automatic cat?
A fully automatic cat.
It's modified.
We put a bump stock on our cat.
5 shotgun shells.
And nukes and missiles.
That's not the problem. The problem is these— God damn it! So as you can see, we have a cat problem. And all anyone wants is to put some rules in place to stop the excessive amount of awful cats on the street. But instead, I'm looking out my window and seeing even bigger, scarier lions, tigers, cheetahs, and AR-15s. That's not the same as a regular cat.
Here he goes with another horrible comparison. If an AR-15 is a lion or a tiger, then an actual military-grade weapon must be like a 16-foot-tall, 3-headed saber-toothed chimera or something. A better comparison is that an M4 rifle is a wolf, and that an AR is a husky, because they look quite similar to most people, but the actual differences are pretty staggering. AR-15s just aren't combat rifles. They're sporting rifles that look tactical, and that's about it. I'd actually argue that a Thompson is deadlier. Fun fact, even when the fully automatic versions of the Thompsons were allowed to be owned by literally everyone, mass shootings were almost unheard of.
But my crazy cat lady neighbor wants you to think it's okay for everybody to own a cheetah. What? No. Would you stop it, Mrs. Nra? Really?
My, Second Amendment says otherwise, buddy.
And sure, there are people out there with the proper knowledge and training to understand the responsibilities of owning a cheetah, but when the cheetahs keep ending up in schools clawing kids in the face, I don't—
Okay, that is almost entirely false. For starters, in 2016, rifles of any sort, like the AR-15, were only used in 3% of all firearm homicides, while handguns accounted for 65%. Handguns are also the most used weapon in mass shootings. Semi-automatic handguns account for 46.8% of them. Rifles, on the other hand, only account for 24.4%, with shotguns following after them at 16% and revolvers at 12.5%.
I think the answer is to put more cheetahs in the school.
Are you talking about guns like AR-15s, or are you talking about guns in general? If it's the former, well, I don't think anyone's arguing for AR-15s to be in schools. But if it's the latter, then what do you have against teachers having guns in schools? Letting teachers and other faculty members having guns in schools is, I think, a great idea. If a teacher or faculty member had a gun and was knowledgeable in how to use it, they could use it to defend the students and themselves from mass shooters. I don't see what's wrong with that.
And I don't think the best way to buy a cheetah is to walk into Petco and go, hey, I want a cheetah. Oh, okay, here you go.
Whoa, hold up. First of all, when someone goes to buy a gun at a gun show, they run a background check right there. They're not gonna say, here's your weapon. No. And here's another thing. If you were convicted of any sort of violent crime, whether it be domestic abuse, assault, they won't give you your gun. They'll be like, oh, sorry, but you're a liability. You're a threat to society. We're not going to give you a weapon. There is no gun show loophole, people. In most states, there's even a waiting period.
And I think we all can agree that it's impossible to get rid of all cats. Which is good, because there's tons of cute, cuddly ones. But let's make some rules that limit and prevent how many awful cats wind up on our street. Less awful cats means less people clawed in the face. Sure, they still might get attacked by a dog or abducted by aliens, but let's handle this one problem at a time. And while this won't solve all cat problems, there's a good chance it'll help with a lot. Like, they had a similar cat problem over on Australia Street, and after they put rules in place, good people still owned good cats, but no one has gotten clawed in the face in over 20 years.
This is a terrible analogy.
Ah, yes, the over 90% homogeneous Australia, with a population of under 25 million, in which only about 650,000 guns were even able to be confiscated. A country that has almost always had another government comprise its military for them, and has never fought a revolutionary, civil, or border war. Also, with no borders to worry about at all. It's an island, and smuggling is much harder when there isn't a vast stretch of unprotected border to worry about. That's a perfect comparison to the 320 plus million people living in the United States, which is one of the most multicultural nations on the planet that has fought all three of those kinds of wars and has been invaded more than once. Oh, and that has over 300 million guns with at least one in every 3 homes. And has a massive border that is horribly unprotected from one of the most dangerous countries to live on the planet. But you are right. America and Australia are totally the same thing. No factors to take into consideration at all here about gun ownership.
All the teenagers on my street that are fed up with that cat lady, I'm really proud of you for being so brave.
So brave, so strong to walk out on class. It's so very brave.
Because they didn't want to go to class.
Miss Cracker makes up a very good point. A lot of those kids just want to skip class.
There's a rally on March 24th in Washington, D.C., and I would love it if you could attend.
All right, that was straight cancer.
Well, that's going to be it for today. Thanks Eisenwolf and Cracker for doing this collaboration with me. Guys, go sub to their YouTube channels and follow them on Twitter. Also, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe, share it, comment down below, and tell me what you thought. Follow me on all my social media like Minds.com, BitChute, Gab, Twitter, DeviantArt, Facebook. And if you like me even more, you can support me on Minds.com, Maker Support, and Patreon. So if you can, go donate there, and I'll see y'all later.
We bop and hippity hop, I'm as happy as I can be. Whoa, boom, boom, and hippity zoom. Love is sweet, love is grand, works one. We bop and hippity hop, I'll never be a millionaire. Whoa, boom, boom.